Hello and welcome back to another episode of From Prison to the Streets. I'm Eric. I did 11 years in prison and I talk about prison stuff. Today I'm telling you guys how I'm doing and I'm kind of reflecting on the year. I'm reflecting on 2022. The date of this recording is Friday, December 16th, 2022. I guess I'm going to start off by talking about the obvious. We're in a new location. This is the new studio I'm building. It's still not done yet, but we're almost there. Maybe that's what I'll call it. Almost There Studios. I don't know. But this is my new studio. I don't quite have the materials up for the ceiling to be finished or the walls, but I'm getting there. The wall that we see over here is actually going to be a window. The adjacent room is going to be the recording booth. And so I'm going to have a room just for recording, and then the adjacent room, this room, is going to be the control room. So that's a project I have ongoing. But I've been so sick, I haven't been able to make the progress on it that I want to. So let's talk about that a little bit. As a lot of you know, I have been very sick. I had a sinus infection back in August, and it progressively got worse. It, ended with me being hospitalized earlier this month. My heart was being affected by this infection, my brain, and it got kind of dicey. I almost died. And as a result of that, I had a midline afterwards, and this is after I've been through surgery, mind you, on my sinuses to help correct the issue. But I had a midline put in my arm, and I stated wrong in my previous video. I stated that it was in an artery. I guess it's in a peripheral vein. I don't really know that much about veins and arteries. I should probably know more about them, but I don't. So I got that wrong. It was in a peripheral vein. Earlier this week, on Monday, I got the midline taken out, so I don't have to deal with that anymore, which is kind of nice. It makes showering a little bit easier, makes getting around and doing things a little bit easier. I don't have to worry about a thing getting pulled out of my arm. But I'm still on antibiotics. They're not quite as strong, but I'm on a oral antibiotic now, and I'm still on prednisone. I'm still on steroids, although they're gradually stepping me off of those. I am supposed to see an allergist next week, and they're going to try to get to the bottom of what caused the initial infection and what caused it to get so bad. I might have to go and see a dermatologist as well and get some biopsies done. I still have a rash on my arms and stuff that's related to the infection somehow. So that's what's going on with that. But I will say that I am starting to get better. I feel like my strength's starting to return, which is nice. I've been bedridden more or less since September. And I've had a few days here and there where I've been able to work on stuff. I have a lot of stuff going on. I've been remodeling my house, putting a roof on, helping with the kids, trying to help my mom when she was here. I just had a lot of stuff going. And I was trying to get it done on the few good days I had when I was sick. But it usually just ended up with me half completing something and then laying in bed for the rest of the day. Because I was in bed for so long, I am very weak and I've gained quite a bit of weight. So my next thing is to get my health back. I need to start eating better. I'm quitting smoking again, and I just want to get into a better spot physically, and that's what I'm working on. And I feel like I'm getting there. I feel like slowly I'm regaining my stamina, my strength, everything. So that's pretty nice. With that out of the way, I kind of wanted to reflect on 2022. I started off the year pretty rough. I had COVID twice, and then I started getting into the swing of things. I had big plans as far as content this year. I was going to start off the Freedom List, and I did get started on that. My wife and I went out to Gettysburg. We went and saw the Mark Twain National Forest with the kids, and spending time with my family is something that I want to do on the Freedom List because it's all about things that we take for granted, and our family is something that we often take for granted. And it's kind of crazy. I wanted to take the time to do stuff with my family. But I feel like all the hell that we went through this year kind of brought us together. In July, we found out that my mom had small cell lung cancer, and We went and stayed with her in the hospital. Then she came home with us. Then she went back to the hospital. She came back home. And it was this roller coaster of emotions all year, it seems like, and then being sick. And my wife was with me every step of the way. My brother moved from the place where he was living in Garnett, and he moved in with me to help with my mom and help out around the house with stuff that I couldn't do. And frankly, with as sick as I've been, without those two, my wife and my brother, I would have just been screwed this year. I lived in an environment for a long time where I had to look out for myself. I couldn't rely on other people to take care of me. I couldn't rely on other people to have my back. I had to look out for myself, right? Now, I had close friends in there, but they're not always there. You know, they're in prison, your friends aren't always around. And when it comes to stuff like that, where it's not something where you might be going to fight someone, you're just dealing with hardships in your family, you don't really want to show that vulnerability in prison. You know, you don't want to be seen as weak. And it's something that I've caught myself doing since I've been out of prison. I will just try to do everything on my own and not accept help from others. And this year has really showed me that it's okay to rely on others, and sometimes we need to rely on others. And I am so thankful and grateful and proud of my family for coming together as a unit and helping each other through a really tough time, frankly. And then just recently, you know, my mom passed away, and that's had an effect on me. But it still makes me appreciate the people I have around me a lot. And I'm very grateful for all of them. And I'm grateful because despite everything that happened this year, I'm in a better place mentally and internally and spiritually. I'm in a better place than where I was when I started out this year. And I think that's what growth is all about. This year's brought a lot of hardships that I didn't enjoy, a lot of hardships that were unpleasant. But we got through it. And I feel better about myself now than when I did when we started out. I feel like that's what the people around you should help you accomplish. You should build each other up. You know, you should be edifying each other, because we're all on this journey together, man. We're all on this ball of rock hurtling through space together, and we all are dealing with hard times and good times together. And there's nothing wrong to share in that and to build each other up and to celebrate our victories and to carry each other through our hardships and our losses. So I'm very grateful for my family and everyone on the channel. And speaking of which, I need to give a shout out to HarveyTalks Prison, because I mentioned a bunch of YouTubers in our YouTube community in one of my last videos. I think it was my last video. And I forgot to mention Harvey, and he has one of the coolest prison channels around. So I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. He's been on this channel before. But I'm very grateful to all of you and to my family. And we do have more fun stuff coming up. You know, this year has been filled with hurdles, but we still have more to do. You know, I'm going to take you along with me for building this studio. And I got my dad's old shop that I'm tearing down and rebuilding. I have a lot of good things going on. I'm getting some side hustles going where I'm going to be flipping some cars and stuff. I don't know how many of you are gearheads, but I'm a big gearhead. So we're going to do some stuff. And now that I'm getting better and getting my strength back, I think we need to get the ball rolling on that. And I finally have a studio again where I can shoot stuff. I've said it on this channel before, and I'll say it again. And this is kind of the takeaway for this video. I don't want to ramble on forever. My voice won't let me. It's still a little bit too weak right now, but I want to leave you guys with kind of a thought. bad things aren't necessarily bad if you can learn and grow from them. And this year has been a huge learning experience for me on so many levels. And I'm glad that you guys have been able to come along with me for the ride. And I look forward to sharing more of myself with you guys. And with that, I think I'm going to go because I want to get this video out, and I have other things to work on for you guys. Got a podcast coming out and some other stuff. But thank you for being here. If you would like to support the channel, consider liking the video, maybe subscribing if you want to see more content like this. There's also a link in the description where you can donate via PayPal. I also have a Patreon that you could get a subscription to. You might be one of my first Patreons. I haven't been on there for a minute with everything going on. I have more content coming up for Patreon, though. And just, once again, thank you for being here. I'm Eric. This has been another episode of From Prison to the Streets. I will see you all later.
They change. They can't hold what can be.